Jake Drake, class clown. I'm Jake Drake. I'm only 10 years old, but I already have a full-time job because that's sort of how I think about school. It's my job. I'm in 4th grade now, so I have the same job for more than 5 years. And if you do something long enough, you'll get pretty good at it. That's how I came at starting to be an expert about school. I've had a bunch of different bosses so far, because that's why a teacher is the boss. And one thing I know for sure is that it's no fun when your boss is Sorpus. So far, things have been okay for me. A few of my teachers gotten grumpy now and then. A couple of them have really yelled once in a while. And this year, my 4th grade teacher is Miss Thompson, who can get grouchy sometimes, because he has brown hair growing out of his ears, so he might be a werewolf. Still, I've never had a real source for a teacher, at least not for a whole school year. But not Willie. Willie's my best friend. And last year, his 3rd grade teacher was Miss Frohl. She's one of those bosses who walks around with this mad look on her face, sort of like a cat when it's outside in the rain. If you go past her room, you feel like you should whisper and walk on tiptoe, because if Miss Frohl even looks at you, you can always find something to get mad about. So 3rd grade was tough for Willie, because Miss Frohl and Willie into the same classroom was a bad deal. When I met Willie at lunch for our first day of 3rd grade, I could tell something was wrong. He looked sort of pale, like maybe he was going to keel over something. I said, "Hey, are you okay?" And then he said, "No, I'm not okay. Miss Frohl already hates me. I spent half the morning getting yelled at, the other half trying to figure out what I was doing." I asked, "What happened?" "Really sure. That's what I don't get. I didn't do anything. I was just sitting there, and all of a sudden, I saw Miss Frohl looking at me. So I smiled at her. She frowned and said, 'Young man, wipe that smile off your face.' So I did. I wiped my hands across my mouth like this, and so I stopped smiling. But then Mad Robbie Hanson started laughing. So then Miss Frohl got real mad, and she made me walk out into the hall. Then she came out and leaned down, like right into my face. She got so close I could see all the way up her nose. And she shook her finger at me and said, 'If you ever act like a smart egg in my classroom again, you are going to be very, very sorry.'" Poor guy. That was only Willie's first day of 3rd grade. It didn't get any better all year long. Miss Frohl yelled at Willie at this 3 times a week. And he's one of the good kids. The kids like Jay Carnes and Jack Wilton, real troublemakers. For these guys, being in Miss Brooks' class was sort of like being in a prison camp. Maybe worse, because in a prison camp, if you mess up, you don't have to get a note signal by your parents. My third grade teacher was Miss Nevin. And she was pretty nice most of the times. I wish Willie could have switched to my class, but it doesn't work that way. Once school starts, you're stuck with your teacher for a whole year, and you just have to make the best of it. And that's what Willie did. Well, he didn't have a lot of fun in third grade, but he lived through it. Even Jay and Jack survived, because that's what you do when your teacher is grumpy. You learn what you have to do to stay alive, and you do it. And you know that at once the year is over, you'll never have that boss again, so you just did your best and wait for summer. Like I said, most of my teachers have been pretty nice. Actually, the grumpiest teacher I have so far wasn't a teacher. She was a student teacher, and I didn't have her for that long. Only about 3 weeks, which is plenty. Her name is Miss Brooch. Miss Brooch showed up on a Monday morning in April near the end of second grade. Miss Brattle was my regular teacher that year, and she said, "This is Miss Brooch. She's in college, and she's studying to be a teacher. As part of her college work, she's going to be here in our classroom for a while." I looked at Miss Brooch. She was younger than Miss Brattle, a lot younger. She was so young that sort of like young Link Basker big sister. Except Link's sister was only in high school. Plus, part of her hair was colored pink, or sometimes purple. Miss Brooch's hair was reddish blonde. That first day, she had on a blue shirt and a green skirt or blue shoes. Her nose was kind of small, or maybe her nose was mostly hidden, because she wore a big pair of glasses with black rims, and her nose had freckles too. For her first 3 days, Miss Brooch didn't do much. Sometimes she helped Miss Brattle pass out paper. Once she read part of a story out loud, but most times she just sat on a chair near the back of the room and watched. By Wednesday, we gotten used to use her hanging around. No kid paid much attention to Miss Brooch except me. I kept looking at her during those first 3 days. I noticed something. Back in second grade, Willie and I are both in Miss Brattle's class. So at lunch on Wednesday, I asked Willie a question. I asked, "Have you noticed anything funny about Miss Brooch?" "Funny?" said Willie. "You mean like the way she squints and works her nose when she looks at the chalkboard? I think that's kind of funny, don't you?" "No," I said. I mean funny like strange. Have you ever seen her smile? Willie was scraping the icing off an Oreo with his front teeth. He stopped right in the middle of the cookie. His eyes opened wide and he said, "You're right, I haven't seen her smile at all, haven't you?" I shook my head. "Nope, not once. I wonder why." Willie finished his first scrap and then started licking the leftovers. He stopped with his tongue sticking out. Then he gulped really fast and said, "Hey, maybe she can smile. Maybe she has a special problem. Like if she smiles, her teeth fell out or something. Or maybe she's an alien." Yeah, so she's an alien. And she doesn't know how to smile. And she's going to use her special powers to turn all of us into hamburgers and beam us up into her spaceship. Willie's like that. He has a lot of imagination. But in a way, Willie was right. Miss Brooch did seem to have some special powers. And there was one power she had that was going to change my life for a while. Because Miss Brooch was about to turn me into Jake Drake Class Clown. Chapter 2.